Hi there, Denny here from the France Pavilion. I'm super excited. I get to take you along with me for a dining review. I'm going to eat at Chefs de France. It's not my first time here. It is a favorite, to be honest, but it's also like a special occasion restaurant. So I don't come here like super frequently at all. In fact, it was years and years and years before I ever did come here. And then finally to dine under the amber lights of that restaurant, woo, I was smitten. I'm here with my family, and so I'll be enjoying the meal at the table. Just to give you the heads up, most of the review will be done afterward, but I'll have all the B-roll, all the details. You and I will sit down together and talk about the entire experience. Meanwhile, welcome to France.
Things.
Good, how are you doing today? Okay, thank you. So I've settled in here just along the World Showcase Lagoon, just so that you and I could talk about the meal that was just had. I have my to-go coffee. We're going to talk about the coffee that is served in Le Chefs de France. We're gonna talk about it here very soon because it's something we got to talk about. If you like coffee, we need to discuss. There are places on Walt Disney World property that, in my mind, are really head and shoulders above the rest. This dining location is one of those spots for me personally. I've had some pretty amazing meals over the years in this restaurant, and today's meal, I'll just cut right to the chase. Today's meal, it continues that trend of just incredible meals in an exquisite environment. Listen, Chefs de France is not one of the signature dining locations here at Walt Disney World. Monsieur Paul upstairs, begun by Chef Paul Bocuse, who started the culinary offerings here in the France Pavilion and then went on to help in Disneyland Paris. If you want like the higher echelon of dining, you go upstairs for Monsieur Paul, and I have had an amazing meal. I've only eaten there once. It is pricey. If we're talking special occasion, Monsieur Paul is like the specialist of special occasions in my mind and in my budget. But I have had an incredible meal there in the past. It's delicious. And I would go again if I get the chance, like in a heartbeat. But Chefs de France is still, it can be pricey. When I started with this review today, I said it is a special occasion restaurant. And that it is. You know, you're looking at entree prices anywhere between like 26, but all the way up to 40, $42.95 for the filet, which we'll also talk about. So just bear that in mind. Like it's congruent with other Disney pricing we see in the restaurants, but it's like it might be a step above. If you're wanting the filet, you're going to pay $42.95 here, and because it's a third-party restaurant, you might not get the discounts when you want them. Discounts normally are in effect. We're here on a holiday, so no discounts today, which does happen in a Disney restaurant, especially for cast members. Typically, I can still use my annual pass discount. Today, no discounts. That being said, worth every single penny, every single hard-earned penny. It was worth it. I decided to start off with a salad that I have had before and I enjoyed greatly. It is the salade au lardon, a crouton. So forgive my rusty French, but it is made with lardon. And lardon is a very fatty bacon that is sometimes like strung together and roasted or braised with other meats to give it flavor. If you are a bacon lover, please, for the love of all things bacon, get this salad. It's $12.95. It features lovely greens, and they just call them greens, lovely greens, a ton of lardon, which is a meatier yet crispy bacon. It's divine. The croutons themselves are rich and buttery. They have garlic going on, like, oh my stars. And it's all in a house vinaigrette, which is this lovely oily vinaigrette. Like, it's not too, you know how sometimes you can get a vinaigrette and it leads with that vinegar. This one doesn't lead with the vinegar, it leads with the oil, and it's really delicious. It was so good. I ate every single morsel of this salad. It also comes with like halved cherry tomatoes as well. Friends, it's good. Also at the table, 2 family members got the escargot, the cassoulet d'escargot de bourguignon à beurre. This is a casserole of they say Burgundian. They are baked in parsley and garlic butter for $17.95. Friends, yes, take in that price tag for a second. $17.95. They were savored, devoured, and they disappeared for both family members who enjoyed them. There's also a baked goat cheese on the appetizer menu. Of course, you've got a French onion soup for $13.95 as well. So just 4 items on the appetizer menu. Before I go any further, I want to mention that there is a fixed price option here. It is the menu français. It's a traditional fixed price of $72.95 per person. That might sound expensive, but let me read off exactly what you get. You get an appetizer, an entree, a dessert. There are 4 of those on the menu. We'll talk about those. And you also get a glass of Cabernet, a Cabernet Sauvignon Georges de Boeuf, or 1 glass of Chardonnay, or 1 non-alcoholic beverage. So it is important to say that at no time is a discount applicable to the menu français. So you do you. Decide, is that something that you would want to get all 4 of those? Then it's going to be $72.95. Going back to my menu, this is also your placemat, so forgive me. It's been through a meal, but it's been through a very good meal. You've got 8 entrees on the menu, and we got several of them there at the table, and we're going to go over them real quickly. My mom-in-law got the filet, so $42.95. You get a filet, and it's an 8-ounce filet. This was 2 to 3 inches thick. Like, this is a lovely thick filet, and it's a grilled tenderloin of beef with green peppercorn sauce, potato gratin, and green beans. Now, my mom-in-law, you can tell from the B-roll, that's not a potato gratin on my mom-in-law's plate. She switched it out with a mashed potato. My mom-in-law loved this steak. She asked for it rare. She got it rare. She is a rare steak lover, and blessings to her for it. You all know that's not me. I like heat applied to my steak. She really did enjoy it very, very much. That green peppercorn sauce, whoo, I tried some of that sauce. If you love peppery, creamy sauces, you got to try this green peppercorn sauce. It had straight up peppercorns floating in it, and I ate a couple of them, and it gives you that burst of pepper flavor. My father-in-law had this shrimp dish, which is brochette de crevettes à la basque, sauce aurore. Forgive my French, Mademoiselle Sullivan would be just croaking right now. I'm sure she would if she were ever to watch this. Forgive me. Large marinated shrimp in tomato, garlic, griddled, served on corn, mushrooms, shallots with cauliflower, tomato, veloute sauce. So velouté sauce. The accent is on the E, so it's velouté sauce. That's $33.95. This is 4 skewered griddled shrimp. It comes with corn and cauliflower and tomatoes, just everything I read off. A lot of cauliflower. So if you enjoy cauliflower, this is your dish. My father-in-law really savored what he had. My hubby had the beef bourguignon linguine. It is braised beef and cabernet, baby onions, carrots, and pasta. And you might think, wait, pasta? We're in a French restaurant. We're not in an Italian restaurant. But there was pasta on the dish. They have pasta everywhere, right? And it was so good. It fell apart. This beef was so good. I love a good pot roast. This is it. If you need something yummy, comforting, this is going to float your boat. It was not overly salted, which I found to be quite nice. A lot of times with the pot roast, especially here on Disney property, the thing you can walk away with is that overwhelming taste of just salt in your mouth. So if you're not wanting that, then this dish is absolutely for you. It was tender, it was rich, it was so good, and I highly recommend it. Now, this is where I'm going to introduce you to our server, Gael. Gael, G-A-E-L. Gael was absolutely fantastic. We could not have gotten, I know every server in that restaurant, I'm sure, is stellar. Gael, I wanted to take him home with us by the end of the meal. Actually, halfway through the meal, I wanted to take Gael home. Just a fount of knowledge, as kind and warm and gracious as he could be. Really fantastic. So Gael suggested, he said, next time you're here, swap the pasta for the mashed potatoes. He said, that's something that I do. And it's just good to know what Gael would recommend, because you want to do what Gael would recommend. Trust me. My son and I both got the salmon dish, which is a white wine and lemon marinated sustainable salmon, broiled and served with rice, sweet peas and carrots, and champagne sauce. Friends, there were standouts on this plate, and let me tell you right now, a couple of those standouts absolutely are the peas and carrots. They're fresh, beautifully prepared, not at all mushy, like lovely peas. They're peas and carrots, but they're lovely. But the real standouts are that salmon and that champagne sauce. As good as that salmon looks, it tasted even better. Like that lovely toastiness on top, just buttery, good. I didn't have to say a thing about, hey, I would like it done this way or that. It comes out beautifully to your table. That salmon is perfect, not at all dry, a beautiful moist piece of fish with that toastiness on top, and then that champagne sauce. That champagne sauce is as buttery, creamy, and rich as it looks. It's divine, so much so that my son, Cam, asked for more. And Gael, our server, brought out Cam's own serving, which he shared with his mom. I was really glad for that, just to have a little extra of that sauce. It's incredible. It's $36.95 and really worth it all the way around. It's hearty. Listen, the rice isn't, the rice is rice. It's a nice rice, but it's really nothing hugely earth-shaking. It's not the star of the dish. It's that salmon, but really it's the champagne sauce. Gael said that the champagne sauce is based off of one from his hometown. It hails from his region in France, so I think that's fantastic. The desserts on the menu, you've got 4, as I said before. Now, they used to have a meringue that utilized fresh fruit and a lovely raspberry sauce, and I think there was even raspberry sorbet on it, but we haven't seen that since COVID. You know, with the pandemic, Chefs de France, as did other restaurants here on Walt Disney World property, they had to kind of back up and punt a little bit and figure out something else to be able to do. Some things, you know, whether it was supply chain issues or whatever, they changed things up. They took that opportunity to do so. You know, necessity is the mother of invention, so they got creative over at Chefs de France, as other locations did. We have a creme brulee on the menu. We also have a tarte au chocolat Valrhona with vanilla ice cream. Also a gâteau, and so it's a citrus cake that involves strawberry lime cream, berries compote. That's $13.95, and then a daily assortment of fresh sorbet. And it comes with a little Madeleine. So from $13.95 to $14.95 for the tarte au chocolat. I asked Gael what he would recommend, and he said, I mean, he didn't skip a beat. He didn't hesitate. It was the creme brulee. He said that others who have come here, who have had creme brulee at other locations, come and have the creme brulee at Le Chef's and say, it's head and shoulders above the rest. And creme brulee, he said, if you want something that's really French, you get the creme brulee. Got the creme brulee.
But we are looking for
Good heavens. That's amazing. Straight up. My father-in-law chose the tarte au chocolat. Whenever Valrhona chocolate is on the dessert menu, this is a sure thing. It could be the dish over at Topolino's Terrace at the Riviera Resort. It could be anywhere you see Valrhona chocolate, say yes, please. So he got that, which was so good, so rich, so creamy. That vanilla ice cream was fantastic. Of course, there was coffee that happened at dessert time as well. And I cannot recommend more highly enough that you have a cup of coffee when you go to Chefs de France. They don't serve Joffrey's, and I really do like Joffrey's coffee. I'm a huge fan of Joffrey's. So don't think that it's, oh, you got to get the coffee because it's not Joffrey's. No, Joffrey's is legit. So good. But the coffee here is actually by a coffee roaster called Kahwa. So Kahwa, Coffee Roasters out of St. Petersburg, Florida. This coffee, like a first sip, you knew something different was going on in this coffee. It was a lovely dark roast. It was incredible. So I had 3 cups. They're small cups. But I had 3 cups in the restaurant, and then Gael offered a to-go cup. Yes, anytime you're offered a to-go cup, why not have it? My hubby and I rolled out of there with a cup of that amazing coffee in hand. So right around $4 for that cup, just a little bit less. Amazing. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Also on the menu is a cheese board. And there used to be, prior to the pandemic, there was a really nice cheese board appetizer. That went away, and it's now kind of transformed into an entree. Mind you, it is $40.95. Friends, I love cheese. I love all things cheese board and charcuterie. But $40.95 for my entree, I mean, I know I could get that and we could split it at the table. And maybe if I was really partying, I might do that. Today wasn't that day. That being said, that cheese board came out and got served at a nearby table, and it was like so much food. So you do you, friends. If you come in with a hankering for cheese, that cheese board awaits you. There is something super special about Chefs de France. It is, you know, before, I made mention of it earlier, but before ever getting to go for the first time, just passing by like on an EPCOT evening and seeing those beautiful amber lights lit up, it just looked like such an enchanting place. And I always wanted to go there. Like, I wanted to be the person at that table eating that food in that location. And from the first time that we went, my hubby got reservations back when the Remy from Ratatouille animatronic used to go around at lunchtime. that was as magical as it could be, especially for a Ratatouille fan. As you can see Emile here on my poster. Remy is next to Emile. I have this picture of me meeting Remy, the animatronic, and my gosh, if I could have gotten out of that restaurant with that rat in my hand, I would have. Just the cutest thing. If I could have just picked him up and bolted for the door. But the restaurant itself is incredibly lovely. There are different rooms as you move through the space as far as themed rooms. So there's one room that's lined with windows that is the room that you see as you're walking by the front of the pavilion. It's like if you're headed toward Morocco, that's a lovely open airy space. There's the more of the salon area. That's where we ate today. We were kind of on the cusp between the salon and the window lined room. And then there's kind of the brasserie section, and really maybe ours was also kind of brasserie as well, but over on the side of the restaurant, kind of leading up to Impressions de France, like each space is so beautifully appointed. Kids in the restaurant, if you're wondering if this is a place for kids, there were kiddos throughout the restaurant. I mean, it's Walt Disney World, right? Cam, my son, who is a bartender at Walt Disney World, I did a review vlog with him at Citrico's Lounge. I'll link it. But he got the espresso martini for $16 to cap off his meal. He said, for what it's worth, he said that it's not quite as sweet as some other espresso martinis that you might have. So bear that in mind. If you're a super sweet espresso martini person, this might not be the one for you. He enjoyed it. And of course, it comes with the 3 coffee beans on the top, which he said everyone does, every espresso martini does, and they stand for love and life and something else, something like that. He explained it. He knew. But it had the coffee beans, and he enjoyed the martini. Just keep in mind, it's not as sweet as others. I have to say this before I'm done with the review. Gael, our server, I could not say enough good things about him. He was so kind and incredibly gracious. I think I said this earlier in the blog, but I do want to state it again. Just so wonderful. He's actually owned his own restaurant in the past, so he is incredibly knowledgeable. Again, I asked what he would recommend. It's so much fun to ask the cast members what their favorites are, and to hear them talk about their favorites and to see them light up about it, and to take that into consideration, because really everyone's different, but they really know what they're talking about. So definitely lean on them for advice if you need it. So now the question is to you. Have you ever dined at Les Chefs de France? If so, what did you think of the experience? This is just one experience, one time on one day. I know that experiences are different throughout property on any given day at any given moment. Let me know how yours was at Chefs de France. Is Chefs de France now on your bucket list? Is it something that you're looking forward to the next time you're back at Walt Disney World? And where would you recommend if someone said, hey, Chefs de France isn't my favorite, but I've recently tried that one. Like, let us know what that one is down in the comments section, because remember, friends help friends around here. We are all about helping each other find good food at Walt Disney World. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to, please consider hitting the like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel for this and other fun adventures that I have at Walt Disney World. Follow me on Instagram if you'd like to. I'm frequently in the Walt Disney World parks and resorts, especially up in my Instagram stories. I like putting snapshots up in there. You can follow me at Denny_Sunderly. I would love to hang out with you there. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate you spending time. Your time is super precious, and the fact that you've spent some of it with me is incredible. It's such a gift. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate your support. And speaking of support, huge shout out to Deborah R. for the super thanks on my Disney's Animal Kingdom 25th anniversary YouTube short. I really appreciate that. Those super thanks really help and invest in the channel. They go right back in. So thank you so much, Deborah R. to that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great one, whatever you're up to. I hope that it's absolutely fabulous. Take good care, everyone. Bye.